What up, what up? This is David from the 5-6 Kings podcast. Yesterday morning, I went to the Jupiter Donut Factory in North Palm Beach, my favorite donuts. And there's a Subway next door. And it was like 7:45 a.m. and the Subway was open. I was like, what the fuck Subway doing open at 7:45 a.m.? And then I found out they do breakfast at Subway. I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but I went in there, I got a bacon, egg, and cheese on a flatbread, and it changed my life. And do you guys know what this means now? Subway, breakfast, bacon, egg, and cheese on a flatbread. Subway, lunch, turkey sub. Subway dinner, a chicken bacon ranch protein bowl. You can go to Subway for all 3 meals out of the day, and the chances of you coming across a child pornographer are very small because they got rid of the one they had. Subway, they're good enough for Tony Hawk. They're good enough for you. Eat fresh. Subway, please give us money. Hey guys, before we get started on this week's episode, I fucked up last week. I did a whole thing where I was like, oh, we gotta explain Richie's relationship to his childhood friend and all that stuff because there's an important part later, and then I never circled back to the important part later.
Happens to the best of us.
It obviously it does because it happened to me. But so like we'll just circle back there because I know all week everyone's been like, why? What was the deal with the friend? I've never seen American Gangster. What was the deal with Richie's friend? So Richie later goes to his friend's house, and his friend's got a microwave there. And Richie's like, what's a microwave? Because it was 1970, and no one knew what a microwave was, apparently.
Well, yeah, I asked. I was like, did he not know? He's never seen a microwave before?
Yeah, but apparently not. So a microwave, I looked it up, and like comparatively to today, a microwave would cost like $3,500.
Yeah.
So Richie wasn't buying
them. Yeah.
Richie didn't have a microwave. But his friend's like, it rearranges the molecules in the food and makes it hot and cooks it. And they're eating popcorn together. And he's like, I can get you one of those. And Richie's like, I'm good. And then he's looking at a picture the guy has. He's like, oh, you and your wife went skiing? He's like, oh, yeah, a place out in Aspen. I was ski in and out, hit the runs all day. It was great. But we were guests. It's your place, Richie. And he just kind of looks at him. And the guy goes, can't we just leave the big guy alone? And Richie says, if I don't report what you just said to me, I can get in a lot of trouble. If I do report it, the trouble is yours. He goes, Richie, I'm hoping you won't do that, but can't we just leave Frank Lucas alone? And Richie goes, Frank Lucas? And it says, tell your wife, I'm sorry I had to leave. Tell her why. And then he leaves. So he finds out, like, all right, so my best friend is on the take from Frank Lucas. Now he's bribing me with a house out in Aspen, being like, hey, I just leave the guy alone, let him do his thing. That was a big turning point for Richie. Lost his best friend.
Yeah, and what was his main purpose of doing that? Was he actually like in contact with Frank Lucas, or was it because he just didn't want his business to affect his business,
So we find out, but I imagine he was benefiting financially from Frank Lucas running the heroin trade there, and he's like, hey, Richie, leave him alone. Also, I believe Richie, the FBI came to him maybe the scene before and told him there was a hit out on him, and
oh yeah.
So I think he was worried about his friend, and he's like, just leave him alone, take this house. And Richie's like, I'm a cop, goddammit. I'm gonna do my job. I arrest bad guys.
I'm doing this because I fucked other bitches when I should have been loyal to my wife.
But yeah, guys, so that's that's American Gangster in a nutshell. That scene. That's all I got on this. Braden, you want to add anything?
Fuck, man. Denzel, Russell Crowe. Can't get any better.
It probably could, but it didn't. It didn't get better. All right, guys. Back to this week's episode.
This the Palm Beach County anthem. All my Palm Beach County niggas, y'all put them fucking guns in there and bust them shit. Bitch, I'm from Palm Beach County. This where I'm from. Where niggas get gunned down and left like all guns just for fucking round. This ain't a county for you bitches to come around.
What up? What up? Welcome back for another episode of the 5-6 Kings. I'm David Breen. Here with me, as always, is Braden Bullard. Braden, how are you, man?
I am doing pretty good. How about you, David?
I'm doing well, man, and I'm doing better because, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special treat this week. even if this podcast gets big and has millions of viewers and we're having like famous people as our guests, I will never be as excited for any guest as I am today. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we have the man, we have the myth, we have the legend, Big Hoff, Nick Hoffman. Nick, welcome.
What's going on, guys? How's it going?
It's good, man. It's good. It's great to have you. Great to see you. Great to be seen by you. And I'm excited to talk about UFC with you because out of the three of us in this room, I think you're typically the most knowledgeable.
I would say so. I mean, yeah, I watch more than the average person, I would say.
Yeah, so guys, like it'll be a good balance of me and Braden just kind of guessing, and I'll probably disagree with Nick on some shit that he knows more about me than, but it's fun. I'll have fun. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, Hoff always breaks down my fucking ego when it comes to picking fights because I always think I'm picking the right fight, and this man is shooting fucking 90 from the field as I'm like, I maybe got like 10% right, so fuck you, Hoff.
You're about 0 for 7 in your last 7 picks, I think.
Yeah, but that's all about a change because today we're going to be picking the main card for UFC 263, and I know I'm going to be shooting 100% from the field.
I highly doubt that. All right, well, let's get started. We got a 5-fight main card. We're gonna talk about the 5 fights. We're gonna make predictions. Whoever has the worst record is buying Subway for the other 2 guys. We've decided. So the first 2 fights we're not gonna get too in depth with. We're each just gonna kind of make our picks on that, and then because we want to spend time talking about the last 3 fights, and we don't want it to be a 3-hour podcast that no one's gonna want to listen to. So I guess I'll just give my prediction for the first fight. We'll kind of go around the circle. First fight, it's battle of awesome nicknames because we got the Bear Jew, Paul Craig, versus Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill.
Sweet Dreams.
As much as I love the name Bear Jew, I got Jamal Hill winning.
For a little insight, does anyone do you guys know where that's from? That nickname?
No, Braden, where's it come from, man? Well, you know so much, and like you watch all the cool movies, and no one knows what it means. Yes, of course I fucking know what the Bear Jew comes from.
I'm just making sure, bro. You gotta make sure the viewers know. So it's from the movie Inglourious Bastards, and the Bear Jew. They basically they do some hard negotiating with a bunch of high-ranking German officials, and if they don't talk, then they get the Bear Jew out to take care of the rest with a bat. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. But seems like a pretty good fight. I'm going with my man. If I should pick first, are you gonna pick first? Or am I gonna pick first?
I already picked, but you were so dead set on explaining Bear Jew to everybody.
Oh, so okay, so
you thought you were bringing like new knowledge to people.
What is?
No, I said as much as I love the Bear Jew, I'm picking Jamal Hill to win.
That's who I got.
Whoa. So you're going off
Sweet dreams, baby.
He's
sweet dreams.
That is true. He is coming in undefeated, and he's walking out undefeated.
Well, I'm not going to get...
So I got Hill, too.
All right,
so 3 for 3 on Hill. And just for the listener, we had Braden write down his picks before we started, so he doesn't just, pick both guys to win or wait and listen to what the other people say and then be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. So we'll double check after this, and if Braden wrote down something different than what he says on the show, we'll hop back on and record it.
I could jump back and forth. Fights can go either way, but I'm just gonna say it straight.
Sorry, fight number 2. We got the legend Damian Maia taking on Bilal Muhammad. I got Muhammad winning this. I think he'll be able to block the takedowns. I think on the feet, he's just going to outclass Damian Maia. I think he wins a decision or finishes him late.
Damian Maia is also very old.
Yeah.
He's very old. You think old, and then you look at Damian Maia, and he's very old. So that's why I'm going Muhammad.
Yeah, the majority of the people that he fought are retired now. So it's like, yeah, he's pretty old. I'm going Muhammad too, but I'm going by split decision. I have it written down, motherfucker.
Oh, so you went split decision?
Yeah, and also I don't think I said before, but I have Hill by TKO. So
So we aren't like picking the round or the way it finishes, but what split decision? How are you you're making a prediction and you'll be like, but I think one of the judges is gonna give it to Maya.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think Muhammad is gonna win split decision. I think it's gonna go.
It's such a crazy thing to predict.
Yeah.
So you're just looking at the fight and you go, that one split decision right there.
I don't know. I think they're probably going to spend a lot of time on the ground, and Muhammad's going to want to keep it up on the feet, and I think he's going to have a lot of good defense. So I think it's going to get dragged out. That's why I think it's going to go to split decision.
All right, whatever. All right, and now into the 3 main fights. We got 3 5-round fights on this card. I'm real excited for them. I think we'll just jump into the first one. We'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll go on and we'll each give our predictions. We got Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz.
Now, this is a 5-round fight, right?
Yeah, 5 rounds.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Leon Edwards, TKO.
So guys, just like how I said before, we're gonna talk about the fights a little bit, and then we'll give our predictions at the end. But Braden's just going to jump right in and give his prediction.
Well, I just want to make sure that I'm the first one to throw this pick out because I don't want them to try and say that I'm stealing their picks or anything. But, fuck, I'll break it down, man. I think...
Hold on. No. So, how did you say Leon Edwards is going to win?
TKO.
That might be doubtful, but it's possible. But also, I think you're looking at our papers over here or something. You cheating over there? Looking at all
I got
of
it
our...
written down, bro. Here, the pen's over here.
But yeah.
I mean, well, I don't think that Nate Diaz's durability is going to outlast Edwards' striking. I just think it's that simple. I think that's the way
I think Diaz can just get hit in the face and constantly get hit in the face, and then he'll stand up and keep coming back at you.
I think that too. I just think Edwards is going to be too precise for the whole fight, and I just don't see the relentlessness of Diaz carrying out the way he thinks it is.
Yeah, but picking TKO, that's a bold. Like, you're going split decision on one fight. You're picking Nate Diaz to get TKO'd. Like, that's a bold prediction. I have Edwards winning, because Edwards doesn't fucking lose fights. His last fight was to Usman, and it was over 5 years ago. But like, I have him winning by decision. Like, I can't see a scenario. I mean, I could see a scenario, but I think it's highly unlikely that he TKOs Diaz.
I don't know if Diaz has been TKO'd in his career. Besides a ref stoppage.
That's what I was going to say. He has like a ref stoppage. I don't think
maybe
he's ever been
that
one.
might go as a TKO on his record, but I don't think he's actually been TKO'd. I'm not 100% on that, but
so it definitely goes to TKO, the Masvidal, but that was in New York, and it was the doctor stoppage because his eye was bleeding. But I think they're going to be in Glendale. Hopefully, the athletic commission knows, like, oh, Nate Diaz just bleeds a lot, and he's fine as long as he's still fighting. He's fine. He has been. I can't think of who it was. Someone head kicked him and like split his forehead open. Like, it was crazy. Like, shin to forehead. His forehead just started gushing blood, and he got stopped then. But that was maybe 8, 9, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually the way I was thinking that he's going to get knocked out is by a head kick.
So Edwards is pulling out leg kicks out of the bag. Head kicks.
Well, that's why I don't know. That's the way I see it happening. But
I don't know.
What do you?
I gotta make bold predictions,
like,
bro.
What are you basing that off of? Like, you're just like...
Have you been looking at Edwards' fights and watching him throw high leg kicks?
I mean, not really. Where he's like, I don't know. He looks like a very well-class striker with his legs. I don't think it's an issue for him to be able to throw a head kick.
Yeah, it's not, but dude, like, that's just a crazy, like, that's a nonsense prediction for you.
I don't think so.
I think Edwards gonna get ahead, and like, he might, and you'll look awesome if he does. But like, you're not basing this off anything. You're just throwing that out there.
Edwards has got fucking long legs. He's good with kicks. I mean, and he's good at setting shit up. And I
So
think,
is Diaz.
yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously, I got to make a bold prediction. No offense to Diaz or anything like that. I think he's a crazy good, strong fighter. But yeah, it's just the way I see it playing out. I think Edwards is going to be very fucking sharp, and I think Diaz is going to be too. I don't know. I see Edwards outclassing him when it comes to striking.
I mean, like you're making me want to pick Diaz now, but like I have Edwards winning by decision, but just your weird like he's gonna TKO him with a head kick makes me want to go the other direction.
Yeah, I really do hate this. I wrote Edwards down. I saw Edwards the other day was a -500 favorite. Nate Diaz plus 350. Now you're making me want to talk to Nate
Take
Diaz.
the odds, bro.
And like don't get me wrong, like I want Nate Diaz to win this. I think Nate Diaz winning fights and being in the title picture is awesome for the UFC. It's exciting, it's entertaining.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think he will, and I think he'll be fine with this loss. What do you guys think? Like, if Leon Edwards wins this fight, where's he go next?
I mean, he was or he is the number 3 in that division. He's got to jump up and at least try and fight for the belt, or I don't know if he waits because he's been out for how long? Like, he's got to have a shot at the belt, though.
Yeah.
So he was out all of 2020, and then came back and just fought Muhammad, and he accidentally poked Muhammad in the eye, and the fight got thrown out.
I feel like they might have I feel like they kind of have a hard time marketing Edwards sometimes. But at the same time, I was just watching, they finally did a rundown or whatever, where they follow him around, they go over like his life story and everything. And I think he has a great story, and I think they need to promote it even more.
It's weird. Like the UFC, they have a hard time promoting people who just like organically have good stories, like Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, exactly.
Amanda Nunes is the first lesbian combat sports athlete, and she's the greatest woman fighter of all time. But like when she fought Ronda Rousey, it was all just like Ronda Rousey's back, ladies and gentlemen. She fucked Ronda up.
Yeah.
Like they someone who's like inherently
and it was more
interesting.
About,
They have a hard time marketing.
Yeah, and then even after that fight, it was more about like Ronda's downfall than it was Amanda's rise. You know?
mean, they didn't even do any promotion for that Ronda fight.
Yeah.
No press conferences or anything. It was just a video of them hyping up Ronda Rousey's comeback. Then she gets knocked out. Then nothing really happens with Nunes. Then she goes and knocks out, what's her name?
Yeah. Right?
No.
What was it?
The Brazilian.
You're talking
Oh, yeah.
Cyborg.
Oh, yeah. She knocks out Cyborg. And she should be the biggest person in that UFC. You don't really see too many promotions about her or anything. She's not really pushed.
Yeah, and I wonder why that is, because I mean, you have this female who can bring in so many other fans from so many other kind of cultures and just different demographics and stuff. I feel like you would think they would try to hone in on that and try to bring in this new market, you know? But
Yeah, and it's crazy. And there's countless fighters like Stipe Miocic, greatest heavyweight of all time, is a firefighter.
yeah.
And like trains when he has time and then comes and just beats people up. UFC didn't really care that he was heavyweight champion. Like they were like, hey, let's try and push Francis. Let's try and get Francis a title shot.
Do you think that they just try to soak up the drama between the fighters then, instead of trying to glorify a story like that?
Well, I mean, what's the drama with Francis though? Yeah, like I think they just kind of, it's the same, like it's like WWE. I think they kind of pick the people that they want to be stars. Obviously, there's exceptions like Conor, who just charismatic and is a good
Owns
fighter.
the show
and able
kinda
to do it.
thing,
But
yeah.
like I think they look at Francis and they're like, look at this fucking dude. Like, let's make him heavyweight champion of the world. He'll be the scariest person on the planet. But it's weird when they have someone like Amanda Nunes and the average person doesn't know who Amanda Nunes is.
Yeah, it is pretty weird when she's like the number one fighter in the world, and there's just not enough press around her.
I mean,
you know,
she's the greatest women's fighter of all time.
no, yeah, absolutely, and they do give her respect, obviously, when she's coming up for now her, when her past couple fights too and stuff. I feel like they give her respect, but still, I feel like they could do better at just promoting some of these people.
Yeah, but I mean, if you go up to someone who might not watch, maybe they watch 1 or 2 UFC fights a year, or if that, and you say, "Oh, Amanda Nunes is fighting tonight. You want to watch that?" And they're gonna be like, "Who's Amanda Nunes?"
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
She's not really. You don't see her everywhere,
yeah,
like how you would see like Connor or.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ronda's probably one of the most well-known UFC fighters, and she
Yeah.
hasn't fought in the UFC in years.
So I wonder what that, I wonder if that is part of an objective they have to try and strengthen their marketing or, promoting team. But to bring it full circle, I think Edwards has a great story, and I think that they can, keep promoting it, as I just saw the other day and from like one of the UFC rundowns or something like that, which I think they should keep doing that and keep throwing out the backstory of Edwards. It just makes it, because if he does win, it makes it that much greater. But let's talk about for Nate now. Like, what's in it for Nate? What happens to Nate if Nate wins?
If Nate wins, I think he jumps Colby.
Yeah,
I think for sure, because they haven't set a date for Usman Covington. Like, maybe they'll do it at the pay-per-view.
true.
But like I think they're waiting, because I think Nate for sure gets a title shot if he wins. And then if he loses, there's the rematch with Masvidal. There's the third fight with Conor. Like, he has options no matter what. But I think they're holding off on the Covington rematch with Usman, because I think for sure Nate's getting a shot if he wins. I don't know what you guys think, but
Yeah, I think either one of them, if they win, they should be in line for the title shot. If Edwards wins, they could do the Colby, but
I think
and like, so they probably will do Colby if Edwards wins, which is like, Edwards' last loss was 2015 to Kamaru Usman. And it's not like he's beaten RDA and Vicente Luque and Cowboy and Gunnar Nelson. Like, it's not like he's fought scrubs. And he hasn't lost in over 5 years. I think if he beats Nate, it's crazy if they don't give him the title shot.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
But I don't think they do. I think if he beats Nate, I think it's Colby Usman too, if they can make that happen. And then Edwards is the fallback.
Yeah, that's what I think, because I think you're gonna make more money off of, for suring that Colby and Usman are gonna fight, and then whoever wins out of them, I would think Edwards is gonna fight.
Edwards is going to win, and then he's going to call out the guy who killed his dad. And then he's going to fight that guy.
We always got to turn it dark, at least at one point in every episode.
Yeah, I mean, of course we do. Of course we do. On to the next fight?
Yeah.
Right. Davison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. Without a doubt, this is the second time they're fighting. Without a doubt, it was the best flyweight fight I've ever seen in my life. And it was great, because the night before I was staying up and I was like, you know what, I'll just watch the fights in the morning. I don't really want to watch that fight. And then I woke up and watched it, and I was like, holy shit, I made a mistake. Maybe the best fight of 2020. Definitely the best flyweight fight ever. And
That's what I was gonna ask. What do you guys thought? Did you think that was the fight of 2020? If you had to pick one fight?
I mean, I didn't do my research for that question, Braden.
No, sorry.
I didn't go through and
I don't know about the fight of 2020, but that fight is wild.
I would definitely say it's top 3.
Yeah, you could put it there.
Yeah.
But it was wild. I think the wrong person ended up getting the belt, but that's just my opinion.
You think Moreno won it? Didn't he get like a point deducted or something from him?
so
Or Figueiredo had?
Figueiredo hit him in the balls, and
Yeah.
Moreno stayed down for a little bit, and they took a point from Figueiredo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then it ended up being a majority draw.
So who do you guys got?
Figueiredo, the day before the fight last time, was in the hospital for a stomach infection. Still came out, put on a fucking show, and walked out with his belt. He didn't technically win, but walked out with the belt. I think he wins this time. They did the fights. They both had 21 days notice last time, so it's kind of a wash with preparation for both of them. But Figueiredo's healthy. He had over 3 months to prepare for this fight. I think he wins. I think he wins, and I think he finishes him.
That's a very interesting thought there, DTP. I really liked it. But I'm going Moreno. I think he should have walked out with the belt last fight, and he's going to walk out the belt this time. Braden, what do you think about that?
So this is the hardest one for me to decide on. It took me the longest to pick this one. I think Figueiredo is like a fucking madman. He's like a zombie. He was taking so many shots and like was not phased the entire time. I kept thinking Moreno was, hitting him with clean, hard shots, and it's like he wasn't even phased. So it made it really hard for me, but I'm picking Moreno just because he is the bigger guy, and I think he won last fight as well. And I think with the right preparation and the right attitude, he has such a positive attitude. I love his fucking attitude. I think he's going to bring home the gold.
He's the bigger guy?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a little bit bigger.
No, I think Figueiredo's bigger.
I think statistically speaking, I think Moreno's a little bit bigger. I could be wrong. I
mean, you're wrong.
We'll see.
Yeah, you are.
We're going to look him up.
When the last couple times and when we comparing people's sizes, I've been right, David. So let's see.
Well, no, you said Shane McMahon jumped from like 200 feet, so let's not think about that.
Sometimes you gotta make things a little bit more extreme than they actually were, just to give that hype, because that shit was crazy hype. Even though he jumped from 100 feet, is basically 200 feet.
It was 30 feet.
It was 60 feet.
It was 40 feet. I don't know why you both lied there.
No, it was definitely 60. There's no
way. Moreno's bigger.
Yep. Yep. Go ahead, give the stats. I want to hear it.
He's an inch taller in there. I mean, they're the same weight 'cause they fight there. Moreno's probably a little thicker though.
I thought it was 2 inches bigger, but who's counting?
Yes, this is exciting. I'm different than both of you guys on this one. So you guys both have Moreno walking out with the belt. What do you think happens after this fight? Do they run it back a third time? Does someone else in the flyweight division go up?
Yeah, I would think they would run it back.
They're going to run it back a third time.
If he wins, they run it back a third time for sure. That would be a big draw for them and for the UFC. That would be
unless someone just gets knocked out within the first 10 seconds. There's no way they're not going to have a third fight. So,
well, I mean, if Moreno loses, he's not going to get another fight. So,
you don't think so? I just think it would be good.
There's no if he.
But let's say
draws
it's a crazy
his first shot at the belt.
Fight.
Yeah, but you don't hold up the division. Like Max Holloway.
I'm not saying hold up the division.
Max Holloway should be fighting for the featherweight belt.
Maybe not right away, but if
Moreno loses, he has to win another fight before he gets the belt.
Yeah, but I would, if it's a good fight, and even if Moreno loses, at some point I would be sure that the UFC would want to do it just because it was such a good fight. Two times,
for sure. But Moreno's got to win.
Yeah. No, well, maybe.
So I mean, I have a different outcome than you guys. So I have Figueiredo winning, and then Askarov is getting the title shot after. Askarov 13-0-1. He has a draw against Brandon Moreno. This guy's a fucking stud, and I'd be real excited for that fight once Figueiredo just starches Brandon Moreno this Saturday. We jump to the main event, boys?
I think we are.
This is a night of rematches, ladies and gentlemen. We got Israel Adesanya versus Vettori, Part 2. The first fight, Adesanya won a split decision. Braden predicted split decision on that fight, too. He was like, it's going to be a split. The one judge is going to give it to Vettori. The other two will give it to Adesanya.
And what happened?
Braden didn't really predict that, just so everyone's on the same page there. But
I can't remember.
I don't know. So I rewatched that fight again, and I don't know what the one judge was thinking. I thought Adesanya clearly won the first two rounds, and then Vettori took him down in the third round and kind of controlled him on the ground. Didn't do a lot of damage, but took him down and controlled him. I don't know how one of the judges gave Vettori one of the earlier 2 rounds, but the end result was the same. Adesanya won.
How do you see this this fight playing out this time?
I think there is a little hole in Adesanya's game that got
Exposed,
shown
yeah.
last fight, and I feel I don't want to give my pick quite yet, but I feel like if he hasn't worked on that, which is his ground game, he's going to be in some trouble.
That's definitely my one
You're
worry.
talking about the last fight against Jan Blachowicz?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was Adesanya. That was his only loss. He moved up to 205. He fights at 185. Moved up to 205 to try to win the belt, and Blachowicz just kind of controlled the pace, took him down, did that. But also Blachowicz fights at 205. You know, he's naturally about 20 pounds heavier than Adesanya, so it'll be tougher than Vettori. I don't know that Vettori can just go in there and control the pace. I will give away my prediction right now. I have Adesanya winning again. I haven't really seen anything from Vettori since that fight that makes me think he's going to beat him. Adesanya's takedown defense has gotten better since that fight, and then obviously he moved up and had the first loss of his career, but he took a big shot trying to move up weight classes. I think Adesanya retains here.
Yeah, I think Vettori is going to try and switch up his game plan a little bit. I think the first 2 rounds he lost last time because he tried to do too much stand-up, tried to prove his stand-up, thought he was better, and then probably figured out after 2 rounds he needs to take him down. I think he's going to start with that this time, but I think, if he can expose Izzy again, maybe. But the big thing as well is that even though Izzy got a little bit exposed from his last fight, he was dealing with an opponent that was still much bigger than Vettori. So I think that's going to be another factor. I think Izzy now probably, might have gained some experience through a bigger opponent doing a similar kind of scenario. And I don't know if Vettori's going to be able to do it the way that Jan was able to do it. So I think Izzy is going to end up winning. I'm picking Izzy, but I don't know. It's going to be weird. It's going to have to put Izzy more in a striking position rather than a counter striking position. Otherwise, if he's constantly counter striking, then he's going to get backed up and probably taken down. I think he's going to have to change up his game plan a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. His style. He's prone to get taken down with his style a little bit more.
Yeah.
So if Vettori can get him down, get those takedowns, I think he wins the fight.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Vettori. He's going to end up taking him down. I think he gets him on the ground and pounds him. And I think it will end up going to the decision. But I think Vettori ends up taking him down a lot more. And I think he ends up just riding, trying to get position, ground and pound. But if he can't get him down to the ground and Adesanya has a good defense, then my pick will lose because he's not going to stand with Adesanya.
And that's the thing. It's like if he would have tried to take him down in the first fight in the first round, he has. I feel like he probably would have won. But this time, if he tries to take him down right in the beginning, it's more expected. So Izzy might be expecting that and might be able to counter it better.
So we did try to take him down early, and Adesanya just kept stuffing his takedowns.
No, you're right.
In the third round, he was able to land him, but
you're right.
yeah, it's not like he just went in there and was like, I'm gonna fucking box Israel Adesanya. Like he went for the takedown, couldn't get the takedown, and was like, I can't just be too one dimensional. Let me try some striking. Wasn't landing much as he was landing. Ladies and gentlemen, I knew I was excited to have Hoff on here, and him picking Adesanya to drop the belt. That's interesting. Like, what do you think happens after that? So Vettori wins. He's the new middleweight champ of the world. Where do we go from there?
Robert Whittaker comes in, fights him. And I don't think Adesanya wanted to fight Whittaker at all.
Yeah.
Because Whittaker should be in this fight right now.
Well, I think it's similar to what Usman's doing right now as to what Izzy's doing. It's kind of like relapping. And I think, Vittori's like his first pick. And I think, if Izzy wins, I would assume that he would fight Whitaker next.
Yeah, I think if Adesanya wins, there's no way they can justify not having Whitaker do it, like, unless something crazy were to happen.
Yeah.
I just can't see a scenario like who else at 185 would they put in there? Usman's not going to move up to 185 to put fight Adesanya. That'd be interesting. Vettori beats Adesanya. Usman's like, all right, I'm going to go up to 185 now. I'd be all right with that scenario.
And then wins it and immediately just like...
Well, he would end up going back down.
That's what I'm saying. Immediately
and
goes back down.
He'd still have the belt, and then once they're like, all right, it's time for you to defend that belt that you won up there, he's going to be like, nah, I think I'm gonna let go of that. And then, that's very, very possible.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be exciting.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's UFC 263. Just do a quick recap. Nick has Vettori, Moreno, Edwards, Muhammad, and Hill winning. Braden has Adesanya, Moreno, Edwards via head kick TKO, and Muhammad via split decision.
Yep.
And Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I have Adesanya, Figueiredo, Edwards, Muhammad, and Hill. Loser. I mean, and really, at the end of the day, we're all going to be winners because I assume all three of us will get something delicious from just the first-class organization that is Subway Sandwich Shop. But no, the loser, I guess, has to buy Subway for the two winners. But we're all winners because we get to enjoy delicious Subway sandwiches.
But I do like large meatball subs, so just remember that, David.
How could I forget?
But no, I also want to go over the legendary boxing match last night. I mean,
the freak show.
How could we not? How could we not talk about the freak show? Let's dive deep. I mean, let's start with
real quick. We aren't going to talk about either of the real boxing matches, right?
What? No.
Like we're just going to talk about the two ones that Mauro Ranallo and the two guys who Jesus Samero. We're just going to talk about the fights that those guys commentated, right?
Yeah. The real funny guys. Yeah.
DTB did not like that commentary from those guys. Did not care for them at all.
Yeah, go ahead, David. You dive deep about them.
So like I'm
first.
all for being like having silly commentators because it wasn't when it was the real boxing matches. They had real boxing analysts in there, and like we're gonna take these ones seriously. These guys are trying to get in the world title picture. But for the two exhibition fights, they had Mauro Ranallo, who used to do WWE NXT, and they had I think it's might be De Jesus and Mero, who like have a podcast and they have a talk show on Showtime. And they were the commentators there. And I'm all for having silly commentators for those fights. I hated these guys so much, though. Just like, it was like they were like, all right, we just have to cram in as many jokes as possible. So it was like, the whole fight, they're just like, oh, he hit him so hard he thinks he's a Publix. And the other guy's like, yeah, he wants to get a Publix sub and some spaghetti and some meatballs. And like they're just like fucking just rattling off shitty joke after shitty joke after shitty joke. And what really frustrates me is because I'm really funny. Probably the funniest person on the planet. But what frustrates me is people were watching that last night and they were hysterically laughing.
Oh, dude.
While those guys were talking. Like, there were people who fucking loved it.
The dude from Showtime that paid those fuckers, he was probably having a ball. He's like, I came to you guys. I think I watch your guys' podcast. I think you guys are probably the funniest two motherfuckers I've ever seen, but I want you to commentate boxing.
And the fact that people are laughing at them commentating makes David even more mad that they're laughing at the bad jokes that David did not.
I mean, it's kind of depressing for Showtime, I feel like.
Yeah, but it's kind of like if you go to if you go to like a stand-up comedy thing and there's a crappy comedian who opens, he's like a local MC, and like and you're listening to him and he's bad. He's really bad. His jokes aren't good, but there's someone in the front row just hysterically laughing. You're like, that's what the problem is. Like, there's someone in this guy's life who's just like, oh my God, you're so fucking funny, man. You should be a comedian. You should commentate boxing matches and make all these funny jokes. Like, someone watched boxing with those two guys and we're like, oh my God, like, it's the most fun I've ever had watching a boxing match. You guys need to go commentate boxing matches now. And they were like, okay. And then they made Publix jokes and said like, oh, they should kiss each other. I think they're going to kiss each other now. Look how close they are. They're going to kiss. Like, just nonsense like that.
It almost makes you laugh because it's so bad and so ridiculous that they're, like, making these jokes as there's, like, these fights going on and stuff. I don't know. It just nothing fit to the point where it was, like, it's almost comical of thinking it from, like, a perspective outside the whole thing. Like, did he really just say that? What the fuck?
No, it wasn't almost comical. It wasn't even close.
It
wasn't even close to making me laugh. It wasn't almost comical. You're wrong, Braden. Don't even try.
That's why I'm laughing because of how mad you're getting, because of how ridiculous it is, because it's not funny. That makes me laugh. This whole thing makes me laugh. So that's what I'm saying.
They had fucking the greatest boxer of all time boxed last night. Floyd Mayweather is the greatest of all time, and it was a fucking freak show.
Yeah, so let's start it off with fucking Chad Ochocinco then.
Chad Ochocinco, for the first 2 rounds, looked like a boxer.
No, he actually...
I was like, oh my God, Chad looks great.
No, Chad looked great, honestly. I mean...
He actually looked good the whole fight until 20 seconds left in the 4th round. He gets caught by a right hook.
And that's what sucks, because everyone wants to just, like, stay on that moment of the fight. And I feel like they need to give more respect to Chad for what he did in all the other rounds prior to that.
Chad, prior to him getting knocked down, like, in my head, I was like, you know what? If Floyd's going to keep doing, like, these freak show expeditions, he should box Chad Johnson. That should be his next. Like,
yeah.
Floyd should either retire or box real boxers. But if he's going to keep doing these things, I was like, you know what? Him and Chad Johnson would be a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sorry. I actually forgot the name. Who beat Chad Johnson again?
Brian Maxwell.
Brian Maxwell.
Didn't beat him. It was an expedition. Everyone was a winner.
But now the whole world knows his name.
That is right. He said...
He repeated it.
So Brian Maxwell is a professional fighter. He was 2-3 heading into this, but 5 professional fights. And after he won the fight, he's like, the whole world knows Brian Maxwell now. Remember the name and the future of the fight game. Like, it was just crazy.
I don't even think he won the fight. I don't
think so either.
If you were to actually score that fight, he gets probably a 10-8 in the 4th round, but Chad won the rounds before that.
Literally, yeah.
So, I mean,
it'd be really close.
Yeah. So they're just going off he's just going off the knockdown.
Yeah.
And Chad was swinging, hitting that man with some good shots.
No, yeah. He did catch him. He caught him a couple times, like right on the chin too, to where Brian Maxwell, is that it? Looked like he was dazed a little bit.
Don't forget it.
Yeah, my bad. Apparently the whole world's going to be coming after me now, so sorry, world. It's Brian Maxwell. Fuck. No, he seemed like he was a good boxer too.
I'm hoping we get that name wrong.
Yeah, it's just been wrong. We all got it wrong.
I hope that name is wrong.
It's not, because I got excited. I thought it was Byron Maxwell, who used to be a cornerback in the NFL. And I was like, oh, that's cool. You got a wide receiver versus a corner boxing. And I was like, oh, it's Brian Maxwell. And then so that's his name.
Shit. Yeah, I mean, it was actually a pretty good fight, for what it was. I was pretty surprised.
Chad Johnson looked like a boxer. He was stepping into his jab, and like, it's
good feet work.
And dude, like, he's an elite athlete,
dude. And his jab was so fast, and you could tell he wasn't muscling any of his shots. Like, it was all with a pop. It all had a lot of speed and strength behind it.
Yeah, no, he looked very prepared, and like, I'm honestly excited. Like, if Chad Johnson's going to keep boxing. I'm excited to see what he does next. Obviously, he's old and he's never going to like challenge for belts, but as long as we're doing like the fun celebrity sports figures boxing each other thing, like I'm excited to see what he does next.
I think he said that was the only time he was going to box. So I thought he said he just kind of like, crossed it off his bucket list or something like that.
He did say that, but he also did call out Conor McGregor after the fight.
I did. Yeah. Was that a joke or was he like?
That was absolutely a joke.
Do you think if Conor was like tried the fuck out of him, do you think they would?
Well, no, they actually know each other, but I don't think that either of them would end up fighting each other.
Neither do I.
I don't know how much that would. I mean, that would bring in money, but
not
it
enough.
wouldn't.
I don't
It
think
wouldn't
so.
bring enough money to where McGregor would be like, "Yep, I'm gonna go box him right now."
What's funny is I already see all these memes about how Logan didn't get knocked out, but Conor McGregor did. So it's like showing like McGregor compared to Logan at the end of the Mayweather fight. I'm like, that's kind of fucked.
Well, if the Floyd Logan match was an actual fight, Logan would have been losing points for
Yeah.
just holding on to Floyd constantly.
Yeah.
And also, so like Floyd versus Conor was like an athletic commission. They sanctioned the fight. It went on Floyd's record. There were judges. There was a whole. This was an exhibition.
Yeah.
Floyd carried the kid for 8 rounds. Didn't really like. Had some moments where he's like, "I'm still Floyd Mayweather. Look what I'm doing to him," but didn't try to finish it at any point. Just kind of was being quick, making the kid miss him. I think had this been a sanctioned fight that would have gone against Floyd's record, I think he would have finished it.
How many rounds did McGregor and
I think it was
Mayweather go?
8 or 9. I think it was up there. So
How many were they
around
scheduled for? Like
12. I'm pretty sure it's either 10 or 12.
10 or 12?
Yeah.
And then they went to like 8 or 9. Okay.
But I mean, Floyd's a defensive boxer,
Yeah.
and in this fight he was having to move forward because Logan wasn't throwing really too much coming forward.
Yeah,
So
I think I heard his coach tell Logan that to make Mayweather fight him instead of Logan fight Mayweather. And that's what it seemed like too. I mean, it just seemed like the only thing he had though, Logan, was just a jab and then his right, and then that was it. I felt like he was constantly just trying to set up his right.
He
like
was
his
just
overhand.
so much bigger
Yeah.
than Floyd that his reach. They said he had like a 1-inch reach advantage.
1.5 inch reach.
There's no way he
Yeah.
had a longer
Yeah,
reach advantage.
for sure. Like 1.5 inches. I was like, how the fuck does Mayweather almost have the same reach as Logan, and Logan's like 5 inches taller than him?
Yeah, I think the reach is definitely bigger. But honestly, I kind of like Logan Paul. I hate Jake Paul, but Logan Paul at like the whole time he was like, "Dude, this is crazy. Like I'm boxing Floyd Mayweather. Like this is wild that I'm doing this." He wore a Pokemon
that
card down to the ring. Like he was humble about
Legendary.
it, and he was like, "Dude, like I'm boxing the greatest boxer of all time. This is crazy." His brother would have been like, "Yeah, no, Floyd Mayweather's boxing me. This is the fight game. It's the fucking fight game. Look at me." So honestly, and Logan Paul did fine. He did as well as he could have against Floyd Mayweather.
Speaking of Logan Paul, that card is worth way more than I thought it was from last night.
1
I
million,
said-
right?
Huh?
What's it worth?
I said it was 500,000.
It's worth $1 million, right?
It's worth between 750,000 to $1 million. There's
Yeah.
only 3 of those in the world.
There's only 3 of those in the world.
Yeah.
I could have swore I had one when I was a child.
Well, you probably have one, but you don't have one that's graded and that's in that condition.
And he's got it fucking bezeled out. You saw that?
Braden probably had one, but he's like, "No, I want a Pikachu, Mom. Go get me the Pikachu."
Or he probably went and traded it for some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, knowing this kid.
Yeah, I used to be a little Yu-Gi-Oh geek too, but Pokemon was my shit.
And while we're on the subject of just Nick and I kind of being mean to Braden right now,
That's okay. Keep it coming.
last night Nick was eating an apple, And Braden told us a fun fact. He said that he read a thing. He's like, if you eat a different apple every day, it would take you 20 years.
Over
20 years. Well, it might actually be just 20 years now.
It's over.
Once we get to the end of this story, if you'll stop interrupting me, it might actually just be 20 years because Braden's math was that a different apple, he was trying to figure out how many apples, like a different apple a day with 364 days in a year over 20 years. And like he kind of snuck that in there and we said, excuse me? So Braden, how many days are in a year?
So I want you guys to all go home after this.
So Braden's going to make, so Braden thinks there's 364 days in a year.
No, it's not just me. It's some of the leading scientists around the world. They actually think there's that 364 days in a year is more accurate than 365 days.
So real quick, just so we're on the same, he looked this up after he said that.
No,
which means Braden has gone through the first 26 years of his life just thinking there's 364 days, and then
nope,
and then Googled some nonsense and was like, "Oh, see, the scientists are on my side, guys."
Hey, Ocho versus science, baby.
If anybody watches Rick and Morty, there's a great episode where Jerry, the dad, is going to help Morty with his science fair project, and he's doing a diorama of all the planets, and he's doing Pluto. And Morty's like, "Oh, Dad, I don't think Pluto's a planet anymore." And he goes, "What? Of course it's a planet." And then Morty looks up. He's like, "No, see, they say it's not a planet anymore." He's like, "Yeah, well, I disagree with them. I think it is a planet." And then he went to Pluto, met with all the Pluto people. It was a whole thing. But that's what Braden's trying to do right now. He's like, "Well, I just disagree. I think there is 364 days."
No, it's not me. It's like I said,
It's you.
leading scientists around the world. It's big debate, and you know, I'm just intrigued by it. So I just thought I would, you know, slip in something cool that maybe you learned, maybe you didn't. I don't know, but we'll see. So yeah, 364, 365. Who gives a fuck?
I mean, I do.
That extra day cares. Where does it go?
That could be your birthday.
I can get real deep into it. We can go into the.
But so it's probably exactly 20 years with the extra 20 days. And plus leap year, we're talking like an extra 25 days there.
Yeah.
But I also said, why not just have more than one apple a day?
Well, that wasn't the fucking study, Nick.
I didn't care about the study. I wanted more apples that day.
There's a lot of different fucking apples out there. So start
and
bobbing.
How random is that? You just look at me and you're like, "Oh, he's eating apple? 20 years."
I like to throw out fun facts. What can I say?
Where do you even find that fun fact? Are you looking up different types of apples? And
Nah, bro.
8.
I follow a lot of, cool fact and science pages on Instagram. It's kind of how I'm teaching you guys.
So everything's right on there.
Speaking of Instagram, if you guys don't already follow the 5-6-Kings, you can look us up at 5-6-Kings on Instagram. Give us a follow. You'll see when our new episodes drop. You'll be the first to know that a new episode drops at 5-6-Kings on Instagram. Check us out. So anything else? Floyd and Logan Paul. I mean, Floyd carried him 8 rounds. Maybe Floyd will fight more celebrities. Maybe he'll be done. Maybe Logan Paul will do another similar fight.
Really quick, who do you guys think is the better boxer, Logan or Jake?
Jake.
Yeah, Jake is probably the better boxer, but I still would like to see him get knocked out by Tyron Woodley.
I'm going to say Logan then.
Yeah, just because you like disagreeing, and there's 364 days in a year.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm actually happy that you didn't pick Jake, because you've been picking everything. All my picks, you've been having my picks today.
You just remember, large meatball fucking sub.
It's been the only difference that we have is you have Izzy and I don't.
Looks like you're stealing my picks, Hoff.
You've been taking my picks. You've been seeing I've been 7-0 the past couple cards, and you're like, I'm 0-7. Hoff's 7-0. Let me switch it up and let me look at his piece of paper real quick. See who he picked.
Well, you folded it so I wouldn't see it. So, looks like I had some lucky guesses.
So, guys, give us a follow on Instagram. Please like, please share, please subscribe all of our stuff. Nick, you broke down 263 with us. You want to come back next week? We'll react to it. We'll see who's buying who a sub.
I will be here.
Yeah, we'll see who's
And
right.
I will be eating a delicious Italian sub from the Subway.
Hold on a second. You talking about the Italian BMT?
Absolutely.
That's a tasty sub. They sure do good work over at Subway, huh, Braden?
They really do.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. Check out UFC 263. See how we do on the picks. I would say bet the house on all of my picks, honestly. Like, mortgage your house. Really just get into, like, crippling debt and put it all on these fights because they're locks. Parlay all 5 fights off of my picks, and you won't go wrong.
I would not advise that. But I'm not an advisor.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening.
Thanks, Hoff, for being on the podcast this week. It's glad for you to be here, part of the 5-6 Now we just need Mr. Freckles, my good friend Corbin. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Beach County, that's where I'm from. When niggas get gunned down and left slump, what we done just for fucking round. This ain't the county for you bitches to come around. Okay, it's 5, 6, 1.
This shit is fucking crazy. They talking about it 96 hours, 4 bitches done got killed, man. Y'all stay the fuck up out the raw, cause y'all don't wanna see nothing y'all ain't never motherfucking saw, man.
Like motherfucking gangster shit, man. We the highest murder rate in the motherfucking state of Florida, man. Fort Pierce, Dade, Broward, y'all niggas don't wanna see us, man. We got it. Straight up, man. Not talking about deuce, nigga.
Hey, come back around, come back around.
Bring that cat out, dog! Bring that cat out, dog! That's real, dog! That's real, dog! Again, dog! That nigga, man. We have to let you know.
Spartan crowd.